Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed, when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I keep thy statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly.
Those heroes brave and bold, where are the men who bled and died in foreign wars untold? The men who conquered all and stood for faith and love, the men who looked to guidance from the Father up above. Where are the men of England, the heroes brave and bold, the men who stood for faith and truth, whose honor wasn't sold? When rape had so depraved, took the daughters of our nation, who forever they enslaved? What of the men of England that looked the other way? They took the country shilling, they never made their play. Where are the men of England, the heroes brave and bold, the men who stood for faith and truth, whose honor wasn't sold? And vice squad, they all seem quite amused, as at the hands of rape gangs our daughters were abused. The politicians blamed the lads who stood up one and all, but most of all blamed Tommy, who always took the fall. Where are the men of England, the heroes brave and bold, the men who stood for faith and truth, whose honor wasn't sold? For now we all must stand. The future of our children is still within your hand. The future not yet written for this green and pleasant land. future of our children is still within your hand. The future not yet written for this green and pleasant land.
This morning, my friends, I asked a question. This morning. I said, where are the men of England? You're here! You're here! You're here!
We certainly are here. We certainly are here. And my goodness, listen, I believe there was a whole lot of... I'd be amazed. I'd be amazed if the... I'd be amazed if a lot of my mods are on this morning, because apparently they were, you know, at it hammer and tongs on Bess's channel last night when I was trying to get to bed, trying to get to sleep. So a fair play to you. You've got more stamina than I've got, because I did I think a 3-hour long live stream with Baraka last night. I can't even remember what I said, so I'm probably in loads of trouble anyway. But I do remember saying when we were looking at all those very enthusiastic religious fanatics somewhere in East London. I think at one point, Baraka said, "What did you do about them?" I says, "We just deport every single one of them." So who knows? You know, maybe the far right have had a pop at me. Maybe it's time for the far left to have a pop at me. Hope not hate on my case again. Anyway. And Raoul, if you're watching this morning, let me know who you are in the comments, because we were talking about this last night. I'm trying to work out who Raoul is on my channel. So let me know if, Raoul, you're watching. Let me know it's you, mate. Yeah, because we had a really good chat last night, and I want to actually make sure that I know who you are on the channel, if that makes sense. So, morning everybody, and we're going through tumultuous times in the country, without a shadow of doubt, and I think what's coming to me at the minute, doesn't matter what everybody else is doing, doesn't matter what everybody else is thinking. I've got to do what I think's right, and I've got to do what I think's the best thing for the movement, the country. And it's like I said, I think I said the other day, you know, sometimes you feel like Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr., the other Martin Luther, the one that nailed the 95 Theses to the door of the church in Wittenberg in Germany, and you feel like Martin Luther, and you're saying, "Here I stand, I can do no other, so help me God." And there's times in the last few years when I felt like that, and I felt like that over the last week or so. But I think what it is as well, and I'm going to talk a bit about what I think about Advance, and I'm going to talk a bit about what I think about, my own channels. And when you're getting a whole lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't want anything to do anymore, Richard," and all this sort of stuff, and you're going, well, all I'm doing is taking the same stand that I've taken for the past 10 years publicly, and probably the past 40 years privately. And if that means you don't want anything to do with me again, well, that probably you were following the wrong channel anyway. So I think I've lost about 400 subscribers from the Richard Inman channel. I don't know if I lost any from Counter Media. I don't think I have, actually. I don't think anyone's left Counter Media, which is great. It means that's a good solid base of people who are aligned to me politically. Oh, and what's happening there's a pruning process. So I'm not just going to follow the shiny new thing or the new rock star. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to follow what I believe's right and what I believe's the right thing to do. So there's a pruning process going on in the movement, and a lot of people, I'm personally disappointed in a lot of people. I'm not going to say who, but I am very disappointed in a lot of people, because I believe they're flip-flopped and what have you, so but when it comes to what we're doing, we keep calm, we carry on. I'm gonna keep doing the Christian stuff. I think now more than ever, the UK freedom movement is vitally important, because what we're seeing is a growing totalitarian trend on every side of British politics, apart from with Advance UK. Genuinely think that. Farage is getting very, very, worryingly totalitarian, from what I can gather from people in Reform. Starmer's, it just comes naturally to Starmer to be a totalitarian. And the media have always been like that. The mainstream media silence anyone that doesn't buy into the DEI mantra. And I think we need a little. Here's a little catchphrase for you, right? DEI must DIE. DEI must DIE. In other words, DEI must die, because that's what's, when you look at it, that's what's caused all this craziness in the country. It's this, giving people's immutable characteristics, and sometimes not immutable. Sometimes they're mental health characteristics. When they're chopping bits off themselves and all that sort of stuff. We all know what I'm talking about. So giving people that are whatever skin colour a valued position over people of another skin colour, no matter what way you do that, no matter whether it's nativism or it's Black Lives Matter, or it's, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. No matter what way that works out, it's a recipe for disaster. And we've got to get back to the old-fashioned way of actually it being about the contents of the character and not the colour of the skin. That's what we've got to get back to. And that's what is being attacked very, very much by the ethno-nats and the nativists on the right. And is there a difference between the two? I think it's a very nuanced difference, and I think one is a gateway drug to the other. And there are people who are facilitating the genuine far-right, anti-Semitic, send everybody out of the country that isn't white Anglo-Saxon, right? I'm not going to say white. It used to be white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, but a lot of these people wouldn't have a clue what a Protestant is. Well, I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm not going to open that Pandora's box. But I believe Pandora's box has been opened on the right. I believe Pandora's box has been opened on the right, and I believe it's been opened by two different forces. It's been opened by the absolute vileness of the far left and the DEI and the critical race theory and the Islamists and the mainstream media, left-wing politicians, progressive politicians. They have hacked the British people off so much that a lot of people have gone, do you know what? You want to play that game? We'll play it. We'll play it and some, right? I understand it, but it's not right, okay? And then on the right, there's people that are facilitating that, amplifying their messages, and very cleverly skirting around the issue so that they just don't cross that line, and hiding their hand somewhat. Let's just put it that way, okay? That's how I feel about it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. And again, I'm not gonna start mentioning political parties. I'm not going to get into that because I think everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about, and I won't play that game. Never have. I'm a Christian, and Christianity is very clear that every man, woman, child are made equal in the sight of God, right? We're all made in the image of God. We all have God's image stamped on us. So everybody should have that basic human respect and that basic human empathy for every other person. We're all descended from Adam and Eve. Every single one of us. That's what I believe. And that kind of means that you can't look at someone and judge them by their immutable characteristics, but you judge them by what they do and what they say. In other words, what their character shows them to be. And if the character shows them to be wrong, well, you stay away from them, obviously. And you get the hell away from them. But if those people made in the image of God are willing to, have friendship, fellowship with each other and build community and build countries, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And again, I keep saying it, we've got to get back to Christianity. We've got to get back to not just Christian values, we've got to get back to proper Christianity. And with that in mind, let's play the Nicene Creed, which is a summary, just for anyone that doesn't know what the Nicene Creed is, a summary of the Christian faith. So let's play this now.
We believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. And in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only Son of God, begotten from the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, of the same essence as the Father, through him all things were made. For us and for our salvation, he came down from heaven. He became incarnate by the Holy Spirit and the Virgin Mary, and was made human. He was crucified for us under Pontius Pilate. He suffered and was buried. The third day he rose again. According to the scriptures, he ascended to heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again with glory to judge the living and the dead. His kingdom will never end. Proceeds from the Father and the Son, and with the Father and the Son is worshipped and glorified. He spoke through the prophets. We believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. We affirm one baptism for the forgiveness of sins. We look forward to the resurrection of the dead, and to life in the world to come. Amen.
So let's. Do you know what we're going to do this morning? I was looking at Twitter this morning, and Twitter this morning. I haven't done this for ages, but Twitter. Because do you know why I haven't done it for ages? Because normally it really, really triggers me. Okay, and that's why I don't know if you remember a few months ago I was like, I'm not going to do any more politics on a. I'm not going to do any more politics on a morning show because. I was getting so angry. I was shouting at the screen and realizing that I was probably going to get my accounts banned and all sorts of stuff going on. But I'll try and do it calmly. Because somebody said to me, they said, "Look, you need to basically have a bit of balance." And I get it. You know, if I do all the if the morning show is all Christian stuff and no news and politics, then I'm going to lose people on one side of the debate. Now, I would love to do more Christian stuff, so I'm going to have to work out how to do that. And I said that the other day. I've got this other channel I'm going to use. I've been really not, I didn't do the Bible reading last night again, so I apologise for that. Anyone was looking forward to that. But let's do some politics. We've got to get the balance right. It's got to be, there's got to be something for everybody here, because I want to influence people with Christianity. But if I just talk about Christianity on all my shows, the people that aren't Christians that I want to influence, I'm gonna lose them. Okay, so without much further ado, I'm gonna dive into Twitter. We'll look at the sewer that is Twitter, and honestly, some of this stuff this morning, I'm just looking at it going, where do we go? Where do we go from here? So without any further ado, let's share screen and have a look at the craziness that is Twitter. I love the smell of Twitter in the morning. If anybody knows what movie that little quote is, I've just recited. Let me know what movies that's from. It's obviously not about Twitter. It's not even called Twitter anymore. I love the smell of something in the morning. Finish the
We
sentence.
know that the very, very, very vast majority. We know that the very, very, very vast majority are actually British Pakistanis.
So hold on. You're
trying to deflect it.
Do you know? Here's the thing, guys. Can you see that and hear that? Yeah. Let me know you can hear that on the screen. Okay. I used to call this guy Piers Moron, right? I still don't like Piers Morgan at all. But he's finally, actually, after all this time, come round to our way of thinking. And he's now conceding that there are gangs of Pakistani men. I'm not laughing at it, by the way. Gangs of Pakistani men who are on an industrial scale still attacking young, vulnerable women. And I think again, I was talking to people who've been working on this for a long time. I think that the grooming gangs are still targeting children and young people when they can get their hands on them. But I think because of the heat they're getting, HMOs owned by Pakistani Muslim mafia through shell companies, etc., are going to be an absolute nightmare for young white women, vulnerable young white women who come out of care, 16, 17, I don't know what age they get out. They're still children. Like, especially nowadays. I mean, for goodness sake, I was in the military when I was 17, but most kids at 17 are still children. So young women, particularly vulnerable young women who are coming out of care and going into HMOs, it doesn't bear thinking about what is probably happening to them. And I think that's going to be the next scandal. I've said it for years because of the way this crime is perpetrated. These women that are basically, well, they're not women, young children, 16, 17-year-old children that are going into these HMOs, very vulnerable. It's going to be a lot more difficult to get convictions against people that are preying on them in those HMOs. So, okay, let's carry on playing this this little clip here, guys. Yeah. Let's see what, I mean, I very rarely agree with Piers Morgan, but he seems to be actually saying something that's true for once. So, sorry, I'm not accusing you of being a liar, Piers.
Into thinking it's somehow white men doing all this.
Oh my God. So in Glasgow, there were white men. So 11 people abused 3 children, one of them in a nappy diaper.
I'm not talking
white
about
gang.
Glasgow.
You're not talking about that, nor is Elon Musk. In the West Midlands, a decade of child sex crimes. 21 white people abused 7 children, all of them under the age of 12.
Right.
In Cornwall, in 2010,
these
3
aren't
years
the
of sex
scandal
crimes.
we're
You're not
talking
going to cut me off when
about,
I talk about sex crime. 6 men. Well, I'll get to that in a moment. 6 men abused 30 girls, the youngest of whom was 5 years old. And you've just made my point for me. These are the scandals we're not talking about. Why? Why are we defining child sex crimes and grooming gangs by race?
Guys, I want him deported. I want Mehdi gone. I don't want Mehdi Hassan here. I really don't want. He lives in America, I think now, doesn't he? But I don't want him in the UK. Because he's an Islamic apologist. He always takes the side of the tribe opposed to the country. Why is he here? Why is he in our country? I don't know whether he's born here. I don't know his background. I think he's Iranian. I think he's a Shia. I have a funny feeling he's a Shia Muslim. Or he might not be. I know he did work for Press TV and he did work for Al Jazeera. Who knows what he is, right? But, again, this is why I've got to be careful in the morning, because watching these clowns gets me. That's a very, very... Where's that comment? What a clown that guy is. An absolute clown. An absolute clown. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unless you're a racist or trying to make political hay out of this. I care about the victims of all crimes. I don't give a damn.
Unless you're a racist. So it must be, I'd say, and again, the problem is we don't know how many girls are victims of this. I'm going to tell you a story. I've told it to many people before, right? when I was doing the Telford, stuff, right? We had a team, and all of us were basically chatting in a pub, right? And this guy overheard the conversation. The guy that owned the pub, right? And sorry, I need to get that smaller again. The guy that owned the pub overheard the conversation. No, I'm going to make it bigger again, because I don't want to see Medi's face. The guy that owned the pub came up to us and told us this story. He said, "I heard your conversation. I've got a story about that." And he was going on a prom date, right? He was a 15-year-old kid. He was going on a prom date, and there was this girl that he'd fancied, and he plucked up the courage as a 15-year-old. You know, anyone that can remember, I don't know if you can remember what it was like when you were a kid. You're not over brimming with confidence as a child, 15, 16-year-old, you know what I mean? Some are, you know, they're the ones that are lucky, but, you know, most lads are scared to, you know, go for it and chat with the girls they fancy when they're 15, 16, aren't they? But, so he plucks up the courage, asks this girl out. He said she was beautiful, beautiful girl. He asked her out to go to prom with him. She said, "Yeah, I'll go to the prom with you." So this obviously must have been 16. This would be the end of his kind of secondary school before he goes on to an apprenticeship, or probably nobody does apprenticeships anymore, probably college or whatever. So he's 16, and he goes to meet this girl for his prom date. He gets there just before the time that they've arranged to meet. She's not there. She ain't there. And he's like, and he's devastated. As a young lad, he's thinking, well, you know what? I made a fool out of myself. This obviously wasn't meant to be. And he's goes home, you know, and that's it. Doesn't think any more about it, you know. But he said it was pretty devastating for him as a kid, you know, just getting knocked back. That's understandable. Well, the true story of what happened is far more devastating. The young girl turned up, and she was so eager. I think she went 15 minutes early, right? Sorry, let me back that up. 10 years later, okay, this guy is in a supermarket, right? And he meets the girl that was meant to go on the prom date. And he says to her, and he says, "Hey, you know, we were meant to meet up. We were meant to go on a date. What happened?" She bursts out into tears, right? And he's like, "What's going on here? You know, I just asked you a question about why you didn't come on the date." He hadn't seen her because it was the end of their school. You know, people go the separate ways. So he hadn't seen her since then. She disappeared out of school, disappeared from everywhere, right? And she turned up 15 minutes early to the prom date. A car full of Pakistani men pulled up, saw her standing. Young 16-year-old girl, put her best dress on, put her makeup on. This car pulls up, they drag her in the car, take her away, and they gang rape her. Destroy her life. Absolutely. That should have been the nicest evening of her teenage life. Going on a date with a young guy that she fancied and he fancied her. Could have been the start of a relationship, could have been the start of a marriage. Who knows? Just could have been a nice evening to burn into her memory banks. And instead of that, that young girl, and now a woman, no doubt, because this guy was in his probably 30s when he came and spoke to our group. And just think about that woman. That woman's lived with that every day of her life since that prom date. So something that should have been very Western, I think the prom thing's more American than it is British, but this idea of coming of age. She was dragged off by a gang of savages, brutally sexually assaulted, and then just left to suffer the consequences. I don't know whether anything went to court. I don't know whether anything, and when I think about this, I've told this story many times, when I think about this, I get emotional. I'm not an emotional person, but I think about my daughter, my granddaughter. Think about women, you know, that it's happened to time and time, and so many women that I spoke to when we were making these films that had stories to tell. And there is something in that religion that gravitates to the men of that religion to be rapists. And there is. There is. It's in that religion. It's built into its DNA. And it sickens me to the core, because the devastation and the effects and the damage that that sort of abuse does to young women is off the chart. And anyway, and this scumbag makes light of it and says, "Oh, there's white paedophiles," or whatever it is he's saying. I don't think we want to hear any more of him. I don't think we want to look at Mehdi Hassan's vile propagandizing face. And well done, Pierce, for giving another scumbag a platform. What about having a platform for people that have actually worked on this and have actually done stuff about this? Okay, next one. Again, oh, surprise, surprise, it's another story about Islam. Shocked. This is just my Twitter feed. This is just what's posted into my feed. This isn't me reposting stuff. I have reposted all these tweets, but this isn't me reposting stuff. This is me just scrolling down my feed this morning. Free Speech Union. Toby Young. Take my hat off to him. He should have, I remember when Tommy tried to join the Free Speech Union, and I think Toby Young sent his money back to him, which, I thought, well, that's, okay. It's Tommy's law. There's one law for Tommy, one law for everybody else. Free Speech Union. The notion that Britain, the birthplace of free speech, could produce its first free speech refugee is a damning indictment of Keir Starmer's government. Well, Toby, I agree with that. 100%. It is a damning indictment of Keir Starmer's government, but it's also a damning indictment of the Tory party. Let's not let the Conservative, and I think Lord Young, as he is now, is a Tory peer. Don't just damn the Labour Party, and they deserve it. You look at what's happening with Mandy, and goodness knows what he was up to. Goodness knows what was going on. Goodness knows what was going on, with the abuse that he was gladly taking. Well, okay, stop there, Richard. Don't say anything. Goodness knows what he was up to. Goodness knows what he was up to. Okay? I'm not going to make any allegations against Mandelson, because we know there's a case going on, all that sort of stuff, right? But the Labour Party is rotten to the core. Let's just be honest. The Labour Party knew about all this, facilitated it. When it comes to the grooming, the Labour Party has facilitated sectarianism in the UK, but so's the Conservative Party, and so's the Lib Dems, and so's the Greens, and all these parties. And sadly, I believe that Nigel Farage and Reform are going to do the same. And that's why I keep saying Advance UK is in the sweet spot, because Advance UK is never going to do that. It's never going to do that. It's never going to facilitate blasphemy laws, hate speech laws. It's written into the DNA of it. Remember that Advance UK is based on the pledge. So if you want to know what Advance UK is about, go and read the pledge. Ideologically, it's totally aligned to the pledge in terms of policy. And this is why I'm so passionate about promoting Advance UK. I'm not going to start attacking other parties, but I'm absolutely not at the minute. I will go back to that at some point. I'm zipping my mouth at the minute, because I don't want disunity to spread like a cancer through our movement. But the right time, I will be doing a deep dive into what is going on in right-wing politics at some point in the next few weeks. If the Crown Prosecution Service gets its way, Britain is on course for an Islamic blasphemy law via the back door. and we'll read this. Hamit Koskin set fire to a Quran outside the Turkish consulate and was violently attacked by a religious fanatic, Musa Kadri, brandishing a knife. In two-tier Britain, it was Hamit. You know, normally what happens when somebody reads about somebody burning a Quran, right? They go, oh, well, I don't agree with burning Qurans, because they're cowardly snakes and they don't want people to flip, and they don't want a fatwa on their asses, okay? If someone wants to burn a Quran, that's up to them. It's totally up to them, okay? In two-tier Britain, it was Amit who was convicted of a religiously aggravated public order offence, while the man wielding a knife on the streets of London was spared jail. I saw that attack, and I believe that guy was trying to kill Amit Koskin. If you look at that attack, right, if you look at what happened, I absolutely believe that he was trying to kill Amit Koskin. I'll carry on reading this. Spit my teeth out. Yeah, Hamit's conviction was overturned last October by Mr. Justice Benathan, who recognised that his actions may have offended many Muslims, but that was the right to freedom of expression, and it must include the right to express views that offend, shock, or disturb. The CPS was not content to leave it there, and it has appealed to have his acquittal overturned. If the CPS wins, it will give the green light to religious fanatics to violently enforce Islamic blasphemy code on the streets of Britain with the nod of the CPS. Amit has said he will be left with no option but to flee to the United States of America. Now, I would imagine Amit Koskin, I mean, I think he is Turkish. I would imagine he's probably fled his country once already. Come to Britain thinking it was a safe haven, and he's not been attacked by people on the far right. He's not been attacked by skinheads on the streets of London. No, he's been attacked by Islamic fanatics on the streets of London. The CPS was not content to leave it there and has appealed to have his acquittal overturned. The CPS, if the CPS wins, he might have to flee to the US. We already read that. Parliament abolished blasphemy laws 18 years ago because they were incompatible with a free society. Personally, I don't like blasphemy, okay, against Christianity. I don't care about it against any other religion because I don't count those religions as viable religions. But if it's against Christianity, I don't like it. Okay, I am a sectarian in that sense. I stand for Christianity, so I don't like people I don't like it when I say things that are close to knuckle. I don't like it when other people say things that are close to knuckle. Okay, and it is one of the Ten Commandments. So, Parliament abolished blasphemy laws 18 years ago because they're incompatible with free society, religious or otherwise, should not be shielded from insult or challenge, and that's right. You should be able to. Every single religious belief should stand the scrutiny of modern critical thought, of modern science, of modern education. They should be able to be scrutinized, and I believe Christianity passes the test of scrutiny. Yeah, there's debate about certain things around the text of the Bible from time to time, but to me, there's nothing there that disproves Christianity, that disproves the deity of Christ, the virgin birth of Christ, the death of Christ, the resurrection of Christ, the Trinity. There's nothing historical that can be used in a successful attack on those doctrines. And in fact, the more people look at the Bible, the more the Bible becomes what's the word I'm trying to look for? It becomes a very, very I'm losing my words. You know what I mean? It's basically a document that can stand scrutiny. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. There is a word for it I was looking for. I can't find it. So the Bible stands up to those stress tests of attacks from atheist academics and people who have attacked it down through the years. It survives those stress tests, whereas Islam doesn't. Islam is not a moral religion. It is quite patently a false religion because it contradicts things in other religious texts that are far older than the Quran. Its leader was a complete moral failure, even though he was a great success as a warrior. and its subsequent followers have created mayhem for the past 1400 years. And that's why they don't want Islam and the Quran scrutinized, okay? So it goes on. Even if the CPS loses a blasphemy law, even if the CPS loses, a blasphemy law is set to arrive. Now listen to this, guys. I've been talking about this for years, right? And it was the same with the internet harms legislation. I was talking to people about the internet harms legislation, as it used to be called, the Online Safety Act. I've been talking to people about that since 2018, right? That they were going to come after our freedom on the internet. And I've been talking about the definition of Islamophobia, which have changed to a definition of anti-Muslim hatred. It's going to have exactly the same effect. They've just changed the wording. They've got rid of the word Islamophobia because everyone realizes it's a ridiculous word anyway. You know, a phobia is an irrational fear. It's not irrational to have concerns about Islam, okay? Even if the CPS loses, a blasphemy law is set to arrive in the form of the government's official definition of anti-Muslim hostility. Think about that. It's not even anti-Muslim hatred, anti-Muslim hostility. Well, guess what? I'm hostile to Islam. And I'm hostile to radical Muslims. And I'm hostile to people that think it's okay to follow a man that married a 6-year-old girl and raped her when she was 9. I'm hostile to that, okay? I have inbuilt personal hostility to that, okay? So this Muslim hostility, and remember, this anti-Muslim hostility bill is drafted not just by Labour fanatical Muslims, Labour Party fanatical Muslims. Dominic Grieve, so-called pillar of the community, is on this this committee that is drafting this bill, and I wonder what's in it for him. It's important to ask whether the CPS would even bat an eyelid if someone torched a copy of the Bible outside the Vatican Embassy in London. Probably not. Now they probably would do something about it. Do you know what? I'm not even going to look at that guy. But there you go. There's a Palestinian cleric saying you'll get nothing in our land except for slaughter or stabbing. Great. The world will say they are terrorists that we incite. Yes. This is what this guy's saying. O prophets, sufficient for you and for whoever follows you of the believers is Allah. Okay. O prophet, incite the believers to fight. Wow. O people of Al-Abra Mosque and the people of Raqqa, from this mosque of yours, you have the honor of delivering these messages to the men of the West Bank. From stabbing squads, we don't just want a single stabber. Oh, young men of the West Bank, attacking 3s and 4s. That's a sermon, folks. That's a sermon. Let me put that on the screen so you can see that, okay? Because nobody knows what the heck I'm talking about there. That is what we're hearing. That's what we're seeing from these people. We just pull that back and just play it so you can see it.
لكم الشرف في مسجدكم هذا أن توصلوا.
Don't want to hear him, but you get the picture. You can see the words on the screen. Can everyone see that? Oh dear, did I freeze this morning? Yeah, I need to defrost these cables. I do wonder sometimes if once I say so many keywords that trigger the algorithm that we get censored. Beardy in a dress. Oh dear. What happened? Did I disappear there, guys? Because I was looking in the comments. Apparently, I froze. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Do you know what? Let's have a look. I don't want to see any more of the beardy weirdy. Oh, this woman here. What about this police officer? And do you know what? Do you know the thing that's really worrying me? This officer has been highlighted for her bravery, and actually, I'm just gonna do a little experiment here. Okay, can everyone see that? Yeah, we can see that. I'm going to go full screen with this, right? So I'm going to take me out of this for a minute and go full screen. And I'm going to try and get this picture bigger. I don't know if that's going to work. No, it's not going to work. Okay, I want to try and get a picture with more of these gentlemen in it. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at this. Can we get this bigger? Not sure if we can. No, we can't. Okay. So let me just ask everybody a question. Okay. So that picture that we're looking at there, let me dive into this image. Okay. That picture that we're looking at on the screen, right? I want to have a little poll, right, of this channel. Okay. Now, now obviously you know the story that police officer, there was a guy preaching, okay, and this little firm of Islamists decided to turn up and say, this is a Bengali area. That's what they said to her. This is a Bengali area. He has no right to preach here. That was what was said. How many people in the comments, I just want you to put yes or no, okay? Yes, if you agree with this statement. My statement is every single one of them should be, if they want a Bengali area, there's a place called, I think, Bangladesh, where they all came from. How many people think all these people should be sent back to Bangladesh? Just put yes, 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 yes in the comments. If you think we should send every single person that's attacking this Christian preacher and saying this is a Bengali area, how many people think they should all go? Go, 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 go. Does anybody think they shouldn't go? Does anybody think they should stay? If you think they should stay, just say no. So I want yeses for get rid of them, and I want no for keep them in the country. Just a little, not a very scientific poll. So if you want them to stay in the country and contribute with their lovely curry, they're going to make lovely curry for you. If you want them to contribute with their lovely curry, say no. If you want them to leave the country and to go to, they obviously like Bengali or whatever they are, wherever they're from. If they want to live there, we can send them back. We can maybe give them a little starter package so they can preach Islam all they want to all their other friends. Do you know what? I think. Do you know something? I'm looking at this little poll that we've just done, and I think Kelly, guys. I'm convinced I think there's one person that I think possibly has said that seriously, but I'm not going to highlight you, Kelly. But I think you got the wrong answer there by mistake. But everybody in the channel wants them gone. God wants them gone. Everybody in the channel wants them gone, apart from one person. And Gareth, I think you might have misread the question as well, so I'm not having a go, mate. But I think everybody else wants them gone. So that just shows you. I mean, there's literally maybe 100 yeses. There's people that never even interact on this channel, interacting, and Gareth, I'm not having a go. Yeah, there we go. Gareth said yes. That's right. So we want them all gone. So yes, that is. Yeah, exactly. They're just a little misunderstood. Oh dear. We all will get a YouTube stream. Well, at least we're all in it together. Do you know what I mean? Oh, claiming it's their area. I mean, if you've seen that video, that girl was absolutely young woman. I imagine she had a colleague somewhere with her. But yeah, they're not here to take part, guys. They're here to take over, and we can't let that happen. And okay. Wow, look at this. Nick Timothy. This is incredible. This is absolutely frying my brain this morning. Okay. X this morning is totally frying my brain. Okay. So look at this. The Royal Mint to donate money from gold bar sales to Islamic Relief UK during Ramadan. Now, I need to get this right. I need to think about this before I say it, because again, these scumbags will sue you if you get it wrong, okay? But there's something about Islamic Relief. Let me just check. Let's have a look. Of course, you'll not get any proper answers off Google when you look for these things. Just going to have a look here. Okay, counter extremism group in 2023. Let's have a look. The UK must consider further action on Islamic Relief. Now, this is from counter extremism group. Okay, so I'm just reading this. Okay. Islamic Relief IRW is a registered charity. It was founded in the UK in 1984, but now has branches in over 40 countries. Its stated focus is humanitarian work, delivering aid. Egyptian co-founder Hani Al-Banna summarizes their mission is to add Islamic values to the international community of humanitarian organizations. However, IRW has had to fight to defend its reputation in recent years after being put under the spotlight by some of the UK's closest allies. What they claim are links to the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood network and the Palestinian terrorist group Hamas. IRW fiercely contests the claims and is pursuing legal avenues in Israel in what it says is an attempt to set the record straight. With the charity embroiled in such controversies, the UK government should also consider whether it has struck the correct balance in its dealings with Islamic Relief. In June 2014, Israel banned IRW from operating in the West Bank. Then Defence Minister Moshe Yaalon said that IRW is one of the sources of Hamas funding and means for raising funds from various countries in the world. We do not intend to allow it to function and abet terrorist activity against Israel. These accusations were echoed by the United Arab Emirates. Now, I'm not going to comment on what I've just read, okay? Because I genuinely, I don't have all the knowledge, I don't have all the information. But the fact that Nick Timothy, who I think, by the way, you know, here's the thing. You've got to give credit where credit's due. There are some very, very good Tory MPs. There really are. There's Nick Timothy. There's an Italian-sounding woman. Can't remember her name. If anyone knows, let me know in the let me know in the comments. Okay. But Nick Timothy is highlighting that for a reason. Okay. And let's have a look at the link that he's going through. Royal Mint to donate money from gold sales to Islamic Relief UK. Don't know what that page is about, civic society, but yeah. So I've just read out what they were saying in 2023 about that organisation. That was on the Counter Extremism Group's website. And again, the Counter Extremism Group, as far as I remember, is a very establishment group. It's not some like, you know, something that can be branded as like me. In other words, someone that is extremely skeptical of Islam's intentions for the UK, the West, and the world. Love this. There's a guy. That is the guy that I'm supporting. That's the guy that I'm behind. Ben Habib. We'll not go into all the controversy that's happened over the last few days and weeks. I'm convinced I'll be vindicated in the position I took, and I'm convinced Ben and the party Advance UK will be vindicated in the way they conducted themselves, despite all the bullying, all the intimidation, all the hate, and all the confusion as well that's come our way. I'm convinced that Ben Habib is still the man to back. And, you know, 100% we're moving forward. We're the Goldilocks political party. We're the perfect political party, and we're not going anywhere. That is music to my ears. Music to my ears. Okay. Right. Okay, here goes. So I think that's it. I think we're not going to even watch Ahmed Yacoub, because he'll just put me in terribly, terribly bad form. Look at this. How many churches do you know where the pastor? Now there are probably some in America, and there might have been some in Northern Ireland back in the day. But how many churches do you know where the pastor goes and sits there with a firearm preaching? Imam with a gun inside a mosque. There's no better way to worship Allah than killing an infidel. The religion of death has no place in the West. You better believe it. You'd absolutely better believe it. Yeah, there's another one. So, Christian church under attack. Christian church set on fire in Southall in London. Surprise, surprise. Obviously an electrical fault. Nothing to see here. Keir Starmer goes nowhere near it. And yet, an insurance job happens on a mosque somewhere in the country, and Keir Starmer's all over it like a rash. Okay, guys, that, believe it or not, that is about an hour. I'm going to take a look at all these comments, guys, before I bug out, because I've been doing a lot of reading myself. Let's have a look at what everyone's saying in the comments. Okay, and let's put the comments on the screen. Sorry about that. Should have them on the screen ages ago, shouldn't I? Let me get rid of Twitter. Bye bye Twitter. I'm done with you. Okay. So what's happening? Let's have a look. Have a good day. All blessed. Take care. I'm so sad about churches being burnt down. Oh, it's horrendous. I know, but you know what? Sometimes I deliberately don't look at the chat. You know, when it's been, I've learned this over the years, right? I used to see when people were attacking me, I used to put their comments on the screen and argue with them. Like, and then I realized that was really not good for my physical and mental health, you know, because you can't punch someone through a computer screen if they, oh dear. Yeah, they absolutely are demonic. They absolutely are. Okay, cool. Do you know what, Deb? Could you email me the link to that video? Could you email me the link to that video? I think you got the email address, I believe, is in the comments today. Richard, your camera's freezing, but yeah, screen share is not frozen. Okay, I think, yeah. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go to that. Okay. There we go. How's that? Let's just hope that doesn't freeze. I don't think it's the camera's freezing. There's something. I found it last night. I found it very, very, very jerky on Baraka's show. Did anyone see the Baraka show last night? How did that go? Because I was talking a monologue for 3 hours, and I'm thinking there's bound to be something I've said to annoy somebody in that. Like, Katie Lamb, yes, she's a good one, but there's another one, Cacchino. I can't remember her name. Her second name's Cacchino, Italian sounding name. Yeah, she's really good, and Katie Lamb's good too. So hopefully I'm not freezing now, guys. I think Farty Pants is probably still in bed, because apparently they were all at it last night till all my mods, right? There's a gang of them, and they all hang out on Bess's channel. And apparently they're all having fun last night when I was in bed sleeping. So fair play to them. But yeah, let me know what happened, and let me know what the comments were like. I mean, I couldn't stream it to my channel because Baraka's not using StreamYard; he's using a different system, so I couldn't stream it. I'm going back up through the comments here. I'm at all the yeses here for getting for actually sending all those people that want to have Bengal in was it Bengal they were talking about, or Bangladesh? They want to have the Bangladeshi people in it's their area. Claim it their area is no, it's England. You better believe it. You better believe it. They're just a little misunderstood. Do you know what? I make my own curries now. I'm not going to go and buy halal chicken curry from the local Bangladeshi curry house. I'm just not going to do it, guys. I'm just not going to do it. I'm boycotting it. You know, don't want to know about it. And I need to find a bar. I must admit, my barber's Turkish, but I need to find a non-Turkish barber. But I kind of like him, to be honest with you. So, and he's not an extremist, so I'm going to keep going. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think something bad is coming. It's definitely something bad's really coming. Something bad's really coming. So there we go. For everybody that said I wasn't I wasn't doing due diligence on the chat. Right, that is now oh, I'm near sure it's in the chat. Let me just check here, guys. Let me just check. Bear with me. I just want to have a look. Right, okay. Here it goes. Yeah, so this is my email address. I'm going to pop it on the screen now. Now, the other thing is I'm dreadful at checking this email address because honestly, you've no idea how much stuff that's going on at the minute that I've got to pay attention to. Frozen, again, definitely software issue. Okay, do you know what? What I'm going to do, because it was happening last night, was on Baraka. I'm gonna. Can you hear me when it's frozen? Can you still hear me? Or is everything freezing? But do you still get the audio? Right, what I'm going to do, guys, I am going to bug out. I'm going to play, what will I play? What song will I play here? I tell you what I'll play this one. Let's play the Lord's Prayer, okay? Yep. Hi, Paul, lad. Good to have you on, mate. Good to have you on. And be interesting to get your take on stuff as well. I mean, obviously, you know, Ben Habib's half Pakistani, man. So it's not about people's race. It's about what they believe. Okay. Good man. Yeah, good man. You see, that's what we want. We want people to live in peace. We don't want extremists in our country. We want people that come here and are peaceful. Let's play the Lord's Prayer, and then I'll bug out here, and I'm going to reboot the computer. The day of the Lord is very probably coming. It's a terrible thing to fall in the hands of God. You're absolutely right. Thank you very, very much. That is massively, massively appreciated. And yeah, I'm absolutely gonna keep going. Absolutely, I'm gonna keep going. Right, okay, let's play this little song and then let's get out of here. So bless you all. It's been another good morning, I think, and obviously nothing controversial said on here. Yeah, that's what they do all the time. They always play that game. They always play that game. Okay, let's play the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as in heaven, so in earth. Give us day by day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone that is indebted to us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Right, guys. Have an amazing day. Be blessed. Be positive. We're still on the. I know there was a lot of people really down about all that was happening. The Restore Advance stuff. Be positive. The two parties are going to grow independently. Um, you know, they've got slightly different ideas of how to do things. Um, it's good. Everything's good. Everything's good in the world, and we've nothing to worry about. The more people getting politically engaged and politically involved, the better. Okay, in my opinion. And I think somebody said this when people were talking about vote splitting. Both Restore and Advance. There's a lot of people that's never been involved in political parties that joined Advance, and I believe still buy into Advance, still support Advance. And talking to the leadership of Advance yesterday, despite all the stuff that's been going on, Advance is still growing. Okay, Advance is growing. People are still joining, actually in big numbers. In fact, the numbers are going up. So it's all good. And we've got to just keep calm and carry on. As somebody thinks said in the comments there. Let's have a look. Yeah, keep calm and carry on. That's what we've got to do. And that's easier said than done when you're in the middle of this firestorm and you're getting everybody hating you, and even people that are friends and family are saying, Richard, you need to wind it in a bit, and it's good to have those people around you because I listen. There's people I listen to. I ignore anyone that's trolling me and hating on me. I ignore them, but there's people that I respect and listen to, family members and friends. They'll go, okay, if you're saying that, I'll take heed of that, right? So so we just keep calm and carry on, and I'm positive. I'm more positive this week than I was last week. I'm really delighted that Ben's showed so much fortitude and character in this, and dignity, and just the generous spirit of Ben when it comes to all this sort of stuff. And again, we look at, I'm just, once again, all my friends that's been getting abuse, Base Bougie, Danny Roscoe, Baraka, others, and I think Khadijah's been getting it as well, which, Kat's, I haven't spoken to Kat for a long time, because she's, been very busy with work and all that sort of stuff, but Kat is a really, really good Christian person, and apparently she's been getting it as well, so not good, and we've got to get that. We've got to get rid of the ethno-nats and the racists out of our movement. We can't have them anywhere near us, and we've got to be very strong on that, and everybody's got to be strong. And if people have made mistakes, they need to put their hands up and say, okay, I made a mistake, and we just need to move on and get everyone together, get some form of mass right-wing coalition made up of all these different parties for the next general election, and really, really concentrate our forces. Almost the next general election, you know what? We should be treating this how the Brexit vote was treated. We had Vote Leave, and then there was the Boris one. I think Vote Leave was Nigel, and there was the Boris one. So that's what we need to do. And look, I'll talk to anyone. I might say things that people don't like, but I'll talk to anyone. Yeah, exactly. Billy Roberts. They may segregate on Earth, but in our heavenly home there'll be no segregation. This is the thing. If people, oh, bless you, Paul. Thanks for that. Really, really appreciate that. Well, I try to do every morning at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I try to do that every morning. Yeah, I think that's accurate. I mean, look, Tommy obviously wants to bring people together, right? Tommy's about unity. Tommy's in America at the minute, so he's not going to be over all the fine minutiae of what's going on in our movement, right? So, and from talking to Tommy is not has not given up on Advance at all, So, and I have been chatting to him, so yeah, okay, guys, I'm gonna go. Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, I'm massively appreciative of what Rupert's doing. This is the thing. The issue is, I don't believe the issue is with Rupert Lowe. Okay, and again, I was quite rude about Rupert Lowe the first day when he set the party up. I was annoyed about that, and again, I shouldn't have said what I said. Okay, but you know, act in haste, repent at your leisure. Somebody said the other day, it's everything you do is knee jerk. Now, sometimes knee jerk's good, but sometimes knee jerk's not good. But I am a knee jerk type person. But it's okay. Who's Richard? Your mods are getting abused now. Certain people feel free to target. Bring it on. I know. Listen, I wouldn't want to fight Claire Bear. No. You know, sometimes when I haven't been diligent, and Clever, I'm gonna have to phone you because you did ask me to phone you, so I'm gonna phone you. I'll try and phone you sometime today, okay? And apologies for not doing it sooner. But yeah, the mods always keep me in line. They always keep me in line. I'm henpecked up just about on every single area of my life, for goodness sake. Anyway. Oh, okay, guys. I'm gonna go. And it's been a good show. And if you're new to the show, do me a favor, guys. Subscribe to the channel. So if you're new and you like what I'm doing and you like this, subscribe to Counter Media. I lost about 300 or 400 people off the Richard Inman channel, but it doesn't matter because the Richard Inman channel is totally demonetized. You know, haven't said I think I got about 50 pence off the Counter Media one, but yeah. Anyways, right, guys, I am gonna go and let's do all this again soon before I go into waffle mode. So see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and oh yes, I'm gonna doing something. Vicky Richer. I was talking to her at the advanced thing. I'm doing something with Vicky today. I need to get in touch with Vicky. I think we're going to try and do a live stream tonight. That's going to be about her. She's done a video about the Islamization of the UK, and it's an amazing video. So I'm going to play that tonight, and I'm going to do a live stream with Vicky to talk about that tonight. Okay, guys? Right, I'm going to go. See you soon, guys.